Good evening and welcome in. This is the Right Wing Podcast, and we are already on episode 10. So I'm fired up, done some research. I got episode 10 planned out for y'all. And for those of you who've been watching, been following, been sharing, been talking, been commenting, everything, I really do appreciate it. I mean, I've enjoyed doing this. I think it's fun to talk to y'all. I mean, I've been doing it for, I think it's like 3 weeks now. It really hadn't been that long. But I mean, there's a lot that goes into each episode between the filming, getting all the camera gear, getting the mic set up correctly, getting it edited, post-processed, getting it uploaded. So whenever you show support, I appreciate it, and I'm super thankful. And I got a great show planned out. I want to talk about this debate going on right now. You got J.D. Vance and you got Gavin Newsom, and this seems to be like the favorites, left versus right, Democrat versus Republican. This seems to be what people are expecting in 2028. And a lot of debate going around this past week about, who are we going to choose? Who are we going to choose? And talking about it. I've seen a lot on Twitter, on Instagram. Who are people going to choose? Who are we going to vote for? And I think it's an interesting debate. I want to break it down. I want to give you some issues to think about. Give you some what their political views are, what their track record is, and let you make a decision. Talk about what I believe. But first off, I want to talk about some breaking news this week because we've had a lot of news. First and foremost, we're no longer involved in the Russia and Ukraine talks. Today, the 21st, I believe it is, Trump says, hey, we're not doing this no more. I'm not involved in this. Zelensky, you can figure this thing out. Because Zelensky's a freaking idiot. I'm just going to be honest. He's an idiot. I don't know how you can be losing a war. Yes, he's losing. Don't come after me. He's losing. That's his lines, his soldiers. He is out of resources. Russia is breaking through, and any day now it is going to be a massive breakthrough where they just don't have support. Ukraine does not have support to keep on going in this war. They don't have money, they don't have weapons, and especially they don't have soldiers. So we're going to see a major Russian push in the coming days. That's a fact. And so why would Putin surrender? I talked about this the other day. Why would Putin give up things? He doesn't really want to. That's why he kind of played hardball. And, Zelensky met with Trump last week. He brought the entirety of Europe with him for some godforsaken reason. And it amounted to nothing. He basically said, I'm not giving up any land. Well, today, I guess he's staying on that idea that somehow you're losing the war and aren't going to make any concessions. So, Trump said, okay, sorry, we're out then. You figure it out. If you think you can fight this war, fight this war. Go win your land back. But, yeah, that's a story for another day. Zelensky's an idiot. He's buying time. Me personally, I think he's got his hand dipped into the defense industry. He's making money off this stuff, off of his own people's lives, essentially. So that's what's going on in Ukraine. Earlier last week, we had Tom Alexandrovich, a Israeli Jew who works in the defense industry in Israel. He's pretty high up, right under Netanyahu. He gets arrested in Las Vegas in a massive child sex sting, trying to lure in an under 16-year-old. I'm not sure if it's a boy or a girl, but an under 16-year-old for sex. He gets arrested along with 7 others. The 7 others get prosecuted. He gets a free trip back to Israel. I've talked about it. It's bullcrap. Just being honest. That's bullcrap. That is the exact thing that we see time and time again where we just bend over to Israel. We let them have whatever they want. The Jewish people control our government. And that story makes me so angry. There's one thing that I don't screw around with, and that's when people mess with little kids. You deserve to be hung, executed. He shouldn't even have the opportunity to leave his prison cell, in my opinion. Here we are. He's back. He's free in Israel because we just let him. And everyone's, this is so-and-so's fault. It's so-and-so's fault. Well, the Trump administration got involved in it and allowed him to go back. The lady that was over, who's also a Jew, by the way, Trump appointed her over the district, said, well, the city should have done something. Well, guess what? Who cares if the city was going to do something? She prosecuted the other 7. They're still in jail. But somehow this guy, Tom Alexandrovich, gets his passport back and gets to fly back to Israel and gets to be a free man because he's a Jew, because he's an Israeli, and because we're occupied by Israel. Big surprise. That's what they stand for, by the way, guys. Child pedophilia, whatever you want to call it. They're sick. So that happened. And finally, kind of the last thing I want to talk about, man. there have been shootings everywhere, and luckily they have not been large. There was one, I seen a guy here in North Georgia got shot in his own front yard 2 nights ago. And there was a shooting in Chattanooga, Tennessee at the university, as well as, I believe it was Villanova. Y'all say if I'm wrong. I believe that was the college it was at, but it was up north. There's shootings all over the place. And, the first thing my wife even texted me today, she saw on the news, she pulled it up where the shooting was happening at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, UTC. And there on the news report, everyone immediately, the shooter has not even been taken down, which I think, thank God, it was not a true active shooter situation. But at this point, it was assumed to be. And I may be wrong on that, but at this point, it's assumed to be. And these people are commenting, this is why we need gun control. Oh, my God. Like, I don't think people realize how stupid of a statement that is. It is the dumbest argument I've ever heard in my entire life. This is why we need gun control. I hate to break it to you, that doesn't matter. If you're going to shoot up somewhere, you don't care what the law is. You're proving that by shooting up a place. And it just goes to show that we do not have a gun problem in this country. We have a cultural heart problem in this country. We have a cultural heart problem in this country. It's not a gun problem. Look what happens in London. You ban guns, they get knives, and they run over people with cars. If people want to kill somebody, they're going to do it. That's what we have to take from this. So what does it matter if we have guns or not? What works better historically is put out more guns. Put out more guns. Let more people carry. Make it more available. Advertise it. I'm advertising it to you right now. You should have a pistol that you carry on you. Women, especially young women, you should have a gun in your possession. This is too dangerous of a world. You go to this big city, you want to hang out with your friends. Like that's a fun time, but you need a pistol. You need protection. And it doesn't hurt, Stock up on guns. Stock up on ammo. It doesn't hurt to have these things. They're only beneficial, and they protect you. And it's a whole lot better to have it and never need it than to need it and not have it. Go get you a pistol. If you don't have one, and if you do have one, go carry. Get you one of those belts, like the little strap belts. That's what I wear, honestly. Whenever I carry mine, it's on my belt thing. It wraps around me. It tucks into my pants well, and it conceals my pistol very well. Go get one. It's cheap, $20 at Academy. I think mine costed. They're comfortable. It doesn't pull your pants down. You need to be carrying because these shootings are out of control. And God forbid any of us ever are in an active shooter situation. But I would like to know that if that ever happened to me, I'm prepared to protect my family, to protect my friends, to protect myself, those around me. That's my take on that. We need more guns. Go get prepared. But let's get into the actual stuff here. I went off the rails there a little bit, but the big debate, the big debate this past week is Gavin Newsom or J.D. Vance, because it seems like these are our two options. You got J.D. Vance, who seems to be the heir apparent to the MAGA throne. He seems to be the guy everyone's choosing. And you got Gavin Newsom, who's like ultra liberal, out of California. He's the guy putting out these crazy policies, and he's been pretty outspoken recently. He's been pretty anti-Trump here recently, talking about the gerrymandering that's going on in Texas and such. And I don't necessarily like Gavin Newsom, but it's interesting to see some of the arguments for him. He's an interesting guy, and what the big argument here is, and I'm gonna touch on it a little bit more later. But J.D. Vance is this supposed white nationalist guy. Like this is the white Republicans guy right here, J.D. Vance. And it's like, man, he's married to an Indian woman. So he's obviously, her parents were H-1Bs, or her dad, I believe. So he obviously is going to be pro H-1B. His kids look very Indian. His child's name is Vivek Vance. I'm sorry, that does not sound like an American name. Like if we want an American president, maybe the kid's name, should sound American, and it's Vivek. People are talking about that. But then you contrast this idea, this kind of like biracial family, to Gavin Newsom, and his family looks very like prototypical American. I'm sorry, did I say stereotypical American family. He's got his wife and he's got his kids, and they're very, American looking. They're very white looking. And yes, America's primarily white, so that would be American looking. And people are contrasting it and saying, whoa, well, maybe this guy's America first. Look at him and his all-white family. Look at him and this American look with the mountains in the background, the sun setting. And they take a picture of J.D. Vance and his family in these, I'll be honest, these awful-looking Indian clothes. I don't know what they were. His whole family's in them. I think he had that red dot in his face, and he's sitting in front of the Taj Mahal. And you compare the two, and you say, which one of these is what we're aiming for? It's kind of funny, And so people have been like, oh, I'm Newsom. I would never vote for Vance. I don't want to vote for Vance either. But they're kind of halfway jokingly saying, we're going to vote for Newsom. We're going to vote for Newsom. Look, this is our guy now. He's anti-Israel. And I want to get into their actual policies, their track records, because I really think it's funny. On the outside, you look at it, it's funny. And that's what a lot of people are saying. It's like, this is just, they're trolling. That's what they're saying about it. But, let's talk about policy. Gavin Newsom, we really get to see what's going to happen if he's in charge. Because we have an exact example right now. He's in charge of California. And I'm going to be honest with you, that place is a crap show. That place sucks. I know people who moved from California to here because of some of these policies. When it comes to gun control, let's see, he expanded the sensitive places in California. So now you cannot carry inside of a private business unless they hang up a sign that says you can carry. That's insane. That's not smart. Like, why would you do that? So, most places here, you might see a sign from time to time that says no guns allowed. You go in somewhere that says no guns allowed. Here's the thing about a no guns allowed sign is when it says no guns allowed, that actually means that, like, legally they can't do anything to you. Like, if I carry inside of a no guns allowed place, I'm not breaking a law. They can kick me out and say, hey, you can't be here, but I cannot be arrested for that. He pushed for this idea that you will be arrested if you carry inside of a private business that doesn't have a sign up that says you can, which is beyond violating the Second Amendment. I don't know how that passes. That's way out there. 11% tax on guns and ammo, he bumped that up. You're only limited to one gun purchase a month, which is weird. Like, why does that matter? I guess, like, let's try to stop people from buying bulk amounts of guns up front to go perform a shooting. But if I'm not mistaken, most people that shoot a place up are doing it with one weapon. Maybe I'm mistaken there. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I think they do it with one weapon, like one AR-15, one pistol, whatever. I don't feel like I've ever seen a guy like tactically carrying two guns going to shoot up somewhere. I may be wrong. It's just an odd thing. When it comes to immigration, Gavin Newsom he's also out there. He's a sanctuary state. The illegals, including illegal felons who have committed felonies, are pretty much released before ICE can even get there. That's how it pretty much works. He gives state IDs for illegals, which pretty much allows them to vote, allows them to drive, allows them to basically be citizens, which I don't agree with. He's also given medical insurance to the illegals, which is funded by citizens through taxpayer dollars, and has resulted in higher premiums for those tax-paying citizens for the non-tax-paying illegals. That's the state of California, and we wonder why it's in shambles. It's bad. And more about California, no more gas cars by 2035. There's a big one. I don't agree with that. Theft under $950 is just a ticket. He's not even prosecuting thieves anymore. $24 billion were spent on homeless people, and apparently 40% of it went to consultants on paper. So you got something like 10 or 11 billion dollars since 2019 that has went to just consultants, when it's supposed to be going to helping this homeless problem that they have, which is terrible. You've been to San Francisco? It's terrible. At one point in California, they were handing out free needles to the homeless people to inject their drugs, because they would rather hand out free needles and do that than for them to go and use the dirty needles for their drug habits that gave them AIDS. And why is the taxpayer dollar going to that? I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. He has the highest state income tax rate. And also, here's the big one. schools cannot reject pornographic gender theory texts. If it's there, if they put it in there, they can't say no to it. You have to teach that. So this is what you're voting on when you vote for Vance. I'm sorry, when you vote for Newsom. You get gun control, you get mass immigration, and you get just some far left stuff. He's not a good option. California's just a crap hole. I mean, it's terrible out there. Historically, it's cool. I mean, there's cool sites there. But politically, to live there, nobody wants to live there, it seems. Everyone's moving their businesses out. All the major companies are moving them out to Texas, which in turn is making Texas more blue right now. Ain't that awesome? But yeah, so that's a little bit about Newsom. Let's talk about Vance now. So J.D. Vance is the political heir to the throne right now, to Trump's movement, to MAGA, which is odd. His selection as VP was odd. Before I was really informed about it, I liked Vance. He seemed like this nice, this good American guy. And he seemed to have these American values. And now I look at him, I'm like, man, you don't seem to really have any values, actually. He comes from, I believe it's Kentucky. He writes this hillbilly elegy, which we're going to get into who funded that in a second. But he's been handpicked by Israeli people, there's really gay Jews. Peter Thiel has literally groomed this man. Peter Thiel is a co-founder of Palantir, along with Alex Karp. These two right here. I know Peter Thiel is a gay Jew. I think Alex Karp is too, if I'm not mistaken. And Palantir, if you don't know, is literally this Israeli-made, basically, AI intelligence system that searches through databases and will literally score people. We actually gave it access last month to all 4 major United States databases through the FBI and things like that, where it can scan all the information the FBI has about you and all these other things of information and give you a score that says how dangerous are you. And this comes from Israel. This is Israeli technology. By the way, not to brag, but Twitter told me that Grok on Twitter told me that I probably score somewhere between an 85 and a 95 out of 100 as a threat to Israel. So, double thumbs up. I love that. That was funny. I'm happy to be known as a threat to Israel because I don't like Israel. But it literally, you can get scores. How big of a threat, and it generates a list of potential extremists or whatever you want to call it. These are the people that I don't agree with this. I don't agree with the surveillance technology at all, or what they're doing with it. And it's got full access. And the information is going back to Israel right now. Those people that created this, that pushed this, literally have groomed J.D. Vance, picked him. Right? You can look into this. I'll talk to you about it if you message out. I don't have time to go into the full thing. They have groomed him. He was at Yale. Peter Thiel helped him get into Yale. He gets into Yale. He's groomed. He gets a degree. I forgot what it's even in, but it has nothing to do with what jobs he gets because Peter Thiel just kind of hands him some jobs to get his resume built up. Then Peter Thiel gives him $15 million to become a venture capitalist, which has nothing to do with what his degree in education is in, what those jobs were. He becomes this venture capitalist. He decides he's going to write a book, Hillbilly Elegy, who is funded by Peter Thiel, publishing it. And this book is like telling white people, it's like, hey, the reason that we're behind right now, the reason we're falling behind is because we have a bad attitude. Because you're not working hard enough. That's what the book says. You got a bad attitude, white people. That's not true. You know what? You know why we have a bad attitude? You know why things are going south for us? It's probably because we ship in all of these H-1Bs to take our jobs. It's probably because our jobs are being taken by illegals from the southern border. I mean, these are the reasons that we're upset. Most people will never buy a house at this point. I seen a stat today. The American dream is to be married. Be married and own a house by age 30. That's what they say the American dream is. It didn't even bring in kids to the picture. Something like 60 years ago, maybe less than that. It was like 60% of people had done that. Now it's 12%. 12% of people in America have gotten married and bought a house by the age of 30. The American dream is dead. Like, it's been shot. House buying is next to impossible. I mean, I'm blessed. I was able to buy a house. Me and my wife have worked hard. She has a very successful business. I work at my family's business. We've been blessed beyond measure to be able to buy a house. But the majority of people will not have that luxury. It's not going to be possible. That's why white people are mad. But he writes this hillbilly elegy that's like, hey, just work harder. Have a better attitude about things. Meanwhile, here he is marrying his Indian wife, having his Indian kids. You think he's going to support us white people over H-1Bs, who I don't think should be coming in here, taking all of our tech jobs for less money, pushing our salaries down, taking our jobs away? No, he's going to support the H-1Bs. That's his family. That's literally what he supports, what he's about. Besides the fact that he's quite literally funded by Israel, he's as pro-Israel as they come. His main funder, his papa, basically, is Peter Thiel, this gay Jew. So if you want to talk about J.D. Vance, we want to talk about all this stuff. Here's another one. He's a never Trumper in 2016. He's like, I'll never vote for Trump. Never. And, in 2016, Trump was this idea of he's going to be the one from outside the system. Most of us still agree with what Trump at least portrayed himself as in 2016 and what we wanted. Obviously that has not worked out, but he was against that to begin with. He only has 2 years in a political office as a senator, and then he gets selected as VP out of that. No experience, no anything. It's because Peter Thiel, helping fund Trump with Israel, with all these other lobbies, is like, hey, this is the guy you need. This is him, J.D. Vance. He's the heir apparent to the throne. He's going to carry us. And guess what J.D. Vance is going to do? You think pro-Israel, you think we're giving too much money to him now? We think we're giving too much support to him now? No. It's going to get worse if he gets elected in 2028. We're going to be giving money left and right. He's accepted over $2 million in pro-Israel funding for his election in his Senate campaign. So we can forget about that. So that's our supposed two options, J.D. Vance and Gavin Newsom. I don't like either one of them. At least J.D. Vance, somewhat gets closer to my political views on a lot of stuff, but at this point, we cannot keep compromising. We just keep compromising. Well, you know what? At least he gets some of my views. He's the less of two evils. He does a little bit of what I want. Who gives a freak? It doesn't matter anymore. We need to be voting and doing and using our vote as power. Because I guarantee you, if we all come out and say, oh, we're not voting for Vance, it's not happening. They're going to have to select somebody different. They're going to see that in polling and say, whoa, this guy's not going to win. Because nobody wants Newsom in charge. 40% of the country wants Newsom. You got 60% who are left. Hey, let's figure something out. Let's get a good candidate here. It may even be less than 40% that want Newsom. That guy's crazy. You look at California, look at his track record. It's not going to work out. And that's why people are joking. It's like, well, if we put this guy in charge, he's going to literally destroy the country. Well, maybe we can just start over. And maybe that's the best road. I don't know. But I guarantee you that Vance is not the best route. It does nothing. We just stay in this track of mediocrity where we never actually get to where we need to be if we vote for Vance. Because he's not going to do the things that have to be done to make this country great, to put America first. He's going to be Israel first. He's probably going to do this crap with NATO and play the Zelensky's games if that's still going on by 2028. Vance is not the option. So then you say, well, wait, this was Newsom versus Vance. That's what this podcast was named. So what are we going to do? Honestly, I did a little bit of research trying to find some people. Who do I support? I would say my biggest pick, and I'm doing more research, but right now, Chris Kobach. I like Chris Kobach. He's in Kansas. He's had a couple failed elections where he didn't get elected. And maybe that goes to show something, but listen, Chris Kobach is a Christian. He's anti-Israel. He's accepted no funding from AIPAC or Israel. He's very pro-gun. He's very anti-abortion. He's very anti-immigration, cutting down these illegal immigrants. Like this seems like a good guy. He just needs support. He just needs money. So, Chris Kobach, if you see this, man, I hope you get elected for president. You'd be my pick right now. If I was picking somebody for 2028, I'd say, man, let's get this Chris Kobach guy in there. Let's see what he can do, Because right now, left ain't working, kind of center-right ain't working because whether you like it or not, that's where we're at. We're center-right. We're not right-wing yet. Let's get somebody more right-wing. He maybe isn't even right-wing enough for me, but he's at least more out there. And this crap with this mediocrity and, doing what we're doing, it's not working. The economy freaking sucks. We all agree with that. And that's supposed to be the big talking point. The economy freaking sucks. Everybody's feeling that. Deportations are down. by 20% this month. Like, Trump is not – 10 million illegal immigrants came across the border in 4 years under Biden. Trump is on pace currently to deport less than 1 million of them in 4 years. That's still a problem. Like, yes, I am against that. We need more deportations. We need to get these illegal people out. I'm sorry. That's the truth. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. That's all I can say. But we need somebody that's going to do these things. We need somebody that's going to be anti-Israel. We need somebody that's going to stand up and have a pair of nuts and say, hey, listen, we're not going to give you any more money. We're not going to give you any more support while you're killing children over there. Maybe Chris Kobach's that guy. I hope he is. I would love to see that. I hope Chris Kobach could come in and just do some damage. I would love to see him make a run at it. I mean, try to get that Republican nominee. You never know. He's had funding issues because he doesn't accept money from Israel. Big surprise. That's where all the money comes from. So he's had funding issues. Maybe we should get behind this guy. Maybe we should fund this guy, see what he can do. I mean, he's served for a decent bit. He's done a lot. He seems like a pretty good guy. Why not give him a shot? But yeah, that'd be my pick right now. Definitely not Vance. Definitely not Newsom. I mean, these guys are terrible. It's the establishment picks. That's who it is. That's who the establishment wants you to pick. Is one of these two guys, so we can just destroy America more. Whichever way you want to do it, we can do this one of two ways right there. So I hope it's neither one of those guys. It's been a fun debate, though. It's been fun to see all the little memes and stuff. You know, my favorite one right now is I keep seeing the picture of Vance with his little yarmulke, his little hat on, touching the wall, praying. You know, it's like, this is really the guy we want. Like, this dude basically thinks he's a Jew. So don't want that guy in. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this podcast. I'm running out of time, so yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed it. This is Vance versus Newsom. And what my thoughts are on it. My thoughts are, go back. Let's do it. But yeah, I hope y'all have a great night. Hope y'all enjoyed this. And as always, like, share, tell people about it. I want to get the word out. And I hope you enjoyed it. So yeah, give me feedback. If you like something, you don't like something, I always love to hear from y'all. And yeah, I hope y'all have a great night.